Hello, yes, hi, and welcome to the Dark Knight Conspiracies, episode 71. The Magician is winning. Well, I could go through the news links today, but I'm not going to because, quite frankly, it's pointless. I mean, I could talk about how they passed the infrastructure bill through the middle of the night. We had a concert where people got stampeded upon. Durham arrested another individual. Again, the theory of the magician is everybody's watching the left hand and nobody's watching what the right hand is doing. And this is totally an op-ed, off script, my opinion and my opinion only. And this is why I'm not sharing any news articles, because what's the point? We're missing what the big picture is. What is the big picture? Quite frankly, I don't know. I have a theory about it. But I think all this stuff is just constant distraction from what we're really supposed to be focusing on. And what we're supposed to be focusing on, in my opinion, is to get right with God. You know, one of the things I like to do when I go through all these articles, I like to go into the comment section. And I'm seeing more and more people, and again, I have no way to gauge this, but I see more and more people turning away from the Orange Man. And I see some other comments, and quite frankly, you know, this is one of the nice things about brainstorming, as I call it, is you can have your opinion, but when you get a bunch of people in a room and you have an open mind, you can start to see other avenues. A way to maybe influence your thinking. You know, I don't know. I know where I stand, and I'm not moving from my theory of we're in pre-tribulation and that it's right around the corner. I could be wrong, and you know, that's the one nice thing about predictions, especially when they're bad. You hope that they're wrong. So let's go back in time. You know, the Orange Man did a lot of good things while he was president. I won't take that away from him. But what was the ultimate goal? And as I start to hear other people chime in and give another perspective, and if you believe all the rumors and conspiracies that the United States corporation is bankrupt, okay, got it. Orange Man's a genius with bankruptcy. He knows how to get through that. I'll give him that. Well, let's play the game, as we say. What if they stopped the fraud that went on in 2020. Let's just say that. We'd still be going through the same stuff we're going through now. The question is, what would the Orange Man have done? Let's take the other side of the coin. What if the outcome was inevitable and there was nothing you could do to save it? Why would you want to be the one in power when that happens? Right? So let's just say this is all a movie. This is all stuff that's going on behind the scenes, and they have everything, and the Patriots are in control. So they allowed all this to happen. Why? Well, certainly, when this all happens, you wouldn't want to be the one in control, right? This is interesting to play with. That this was all, and if we can believe that the Patriots and the White Hats are in control, that the only way this infrastructure bill could have got through, think about it. Trump couldn't get the Orange Man couldn't get an infrastructure bill through Congress, yet, the Democrats did, with help from 18 Republicans. If they were in control, my theory is they would have had to bless this. This is part of the plan, right? Again, to crash the economy and to crash the dollar. You want to put somebody else in place so that you're not blamed for it. So all this is kind of making sense now of why we had the whole fraud thing and why nothing's getting done with the fraud, because quite frankly, I don't think anything's going to be getting done with it. I think this is all a distraction from what is really going on. And what's really going on is good versus evil, God versus Satan. This is a battle for souls. And we're being distracted from that. I find it interesting, and I'm one of the people that thought, and it still might be true, that God has his hands on Trump. But what I find interesting is Trump's not trying to rally people on a religious basis. And there may be solid reasons for that. Again, we're the ones responsible for why the country's in the shape it is. We had the power. We have the power. But we were too busy with our normal lives to take an interest, and you're starting to see it now. You got parents getting involved in the school boards. Quite frankly, this should have been going on the last 20 years. But the question is, how bad is this going to get? I see comments from people saying, he's still touting the jabs, and yet we keep seeing the stories. And again, what is real, what is not? This is the hardest part about all this. But one thing I do know, And I'm not a Bible scholar, and I don't profess to be one. But just a generic knowledge and reading of Revelation, out of chaos comes control. And this is where we're at now. And I've seen articles out there. There was a big party at Mar-a-Lago recently, and a lot of congressional people were there. A lot of news pundits were there from Newsmax and this and that. And this puts a red flag in my head. And again, what is the purpose of disinformation versus information? And predictive programming, as they call it. And I got a problem with all these people out there on alt media. I'm starting to see some people get away from the whole Orange Man stuff, but they're not speaking out against it. We were programmed for the last 5 years about fake news, fake news, fake news. Well, what happens when you create a social network that is under the disguise of truth and uncensorship? And what happens if you tear down the mainstream media and then promote or have a media in place that will basically agree with everything you do and not question anything that you do? Because the minute this happens, you've already laid the groundwork for, well, that's fake news. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's already being set up to where nobody's going to question what the Orange Man is doing. And according to the 17 board, we were told to question everything. I'm not comfortable where this is going. I said if something doesn't happen before the first of the year, but people are suffering, and this could be God's will. Don't forget, we have to pay for allowing the 60 million plus abortions that were going on. And a lot of you will say, well, look, I didn't know. This was going on, or that was going on, or organ harvesting was going on, and this and that. And that's because we concentrated on our own lives and not the big picture of where this was going. We didn't realize where the road this was going to lead down to. And look what we got. We got bathrooms where people don't know which one to go into. And this is all acceptable now. And I'm talking about 1%. 1% of this culture is controlling this country. Do you see what's wrong here? Do you see why this is all happening now? Because we allowed it. And I know a lot of you are going to say, well, they were rigging the elections. What's the point? Well, in God's eyes, the point is you didn't do anything. And I think that's the message that's being lost. And I think all these distractions are being meant to keep you away from Him. Again, my personal beliefs, I could care less what you think. But I know one thing. You're not going to come up with some alien deception or trotting JFK out there or Princess Diana. I can tell you from personal experience, whether it's God or somebody else, there is a higher presence out there. And it has affected my life and guided my life and protected my life to a certain degree. Again, I don't think much of this is going to make sense to anybody. I just know a lot of people are frustrated. But we all have a cross to bear. You think about what Paul went through. That is nothing compared to what we're going through now. And it's going to get worse. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But my gut is not right. Something is wrong. And I feel it. And I can't describe it. I can't put my finger on it. I just know I wake up every morning and I feel something is different in the air. Not sure what you people feel. And I normally don't do this, but there is strength in numbers. I have some family members that are going through some trying health times right now. And I would ask for prayers for Rob and Ellen and myself, because Satan attacks every one of us. We just don't realize that he's doing it. But my faith has shown me there is strength in prayer and there is strength in numbers. And this is what we are missing through this whole thing. God taught us a lot. The problem was we're not all listening. We're not all prevalent in his teachings. We've gotten away from that. And as I said, I'm not a Bible scholar. But my faith will never be shaken. I know he's real. And he's the only one that's going to get us through this. We just have to come to him. And with that, I'll end the show. Thank you. I'm sorry. Not a normal show. But as always, stay safe, stay strong, stay vigilant, be prepared, keep your faith. God bless you all. Zebra 3, take us home.